All right, welcome everyone to week 3 of our mastermind where we are getting back to basics. And tonight we are going to deep dive into sharing. So we will talk a little bit about sharing face-to-face because some people do prefer that. So we'll talk about ways to share naturally. So it's not weird, you don't feel salesy, but also how can you share online and virtually with people, making sure that you're meeting their needs. And I am so excited that Kathy is here to share with you because she and I are cross-line friends, but she is definitely one of the people underneath our diamonds that sometimes when I'm like, I will call her, like, can you help me understand what's going on? We got to have lunch together at convention. And you know, she shared a lot with me. We got to clarify a lot of things in our team direction and culture. And I know that she's had some things that happen in her life, but literally this woman has been like equal to consistency since she's been back from convention. Like, she made a decision to share weekly online and she does it regularly. So if you want to know how to share regularly, this woman is going to help you do that. So with that, I will turn it over to her for her to teach us.
Okay, well, thank you, Tashina, and kudos to all of you for showing up tonight, because I know there's a lot of things on your mind, and maybe this was the last night, but I really appreciate that you guys are here. Oh, yeah. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so my computer just decided to go out, and I luckily was taking notes to have some bullet points for tonight. So I don't have anything to share on my screen, and I'm not so sure that it would have been significant anyway. But having this topic to talk about is a great way for me to learn as well, because I struggle. I'm challenged with classes. Early on when I started, that was the thing that I did. I did not like internet sharing, and I didn't really have a picture of me on my profile on Facebook. I didn't have any Instagram or Twitter. So coming kind of in a full circle, I still don't use Twitter a lot, or I don't use Twitter at all anymore. And even when I used it, it was more just to put things out there, but I didn't get a big response from it. So it's not one of my big platforms to work off of. Instagram is more of a learning tool for me so far. I don't use it for sharing. I use it for sharing quotes and just kind of being out there in Instagram land. So if you're looking for Instagram tips, there's tons and tons of groups you can learn from. There's Young Living groups you can learn from. Grow Workspace is the place for me. I love that platform. I love that group. They give you graphics. They give you classes. They give you bundles for project broadcast or for texting on your own. They give you bundles for email. They give you so much content that I choose not to learn how to do. I know how to do it, but it takes me a while to do it. So it's just so much easier to have somebody make it up for you, and then you get to put it in the platform that you want to use it in. So this class tonight is coming from one of their classes, which it's called Business Training. So it will tell you different steps you can take in teaching a class, in what to do for classes, give you ideas. Another platform that I grabbed quick when my computer went out is the Propel book by Inspired Sharing. So who has this book? Just put in the chats if you have a training book. Propel, game plan, put what you like to use. So I just pulled some ideas from here as well. So number one thing you want to do last week we talked about our list of people that we would share with. And so the next step is take that action and share. Hi, Dana. Thanks for, yeah, you have them all. I think I do too. So number one class tip is to start taking action on your decision to teach a class. And the one thing that I struggled with in the beginning was setting a date and then giving people enough time to make plans to attend. And my challenge with that was I had young kids, and what if something goes wrong? What if they're sick? What if the babysitter cancels? And I had a really hard time committing to a date. And so when I knew, like, oh, a Thursday I'm free, let's grab some people and get together. That was kind of how my classes started out. Then I designated one day a month. I'm like, okay, if I can do one class a month, I'll do one class a month. And then Kim Brummelkamp and Kelly Brummelkamp came and taught the class for me. I was so scared to teach in front of people that they did it for me. But once they were there teaching, then I wasn't scared to talk. So it was that pressure of, I just don't think I can do this on my own. And if you have things like that that are holding you back, then just team up with somebody. And it doesn't even have to be your upline or your downline. I mean, team up with somebody, grab a friend and say, hey, I'm really scared to do this. Would you do it with me? And bringing them as your support may be your next prospect. And I don't like to talk about my friends as prospects, but they are. But that might be what you need for your support. Or maybe it's your family members, somebody that's going to encourage you and not discourage you. And a lot of times that is your upline because they want to see you succeed. My upline enroller is my sister who wants nothing to do with the business, doesn't want to do a class. She makes fun of me online. So she's the last person I would ask to come and support me. But you reach above them because there's somebody above there that did enroll her that does want you to succeed. And so that's the first step, is just put a date down on your calendar and make a plan for your class. Number 2 is do a personal invitation. So I blanket invite on Facebook when I do a Facebook class or any online. I will click down the line and invite everybody, because if you don't click them into the event, they won't see it if they're not invited through the event. So I do that, and then I will post a topic that can be directed towards them, like I'm speaking to them in the event, and say, this is why I would like you to come to this online class, and try to make it personal. And then you go to like the top 10 people or 15, 50 people, however you want to do that, and you send them an individual personal message. As to, I don't link the event to that. I might say something like, hey, I've got some really good information that I want to share with you. Would you be interested in joining? So if I, would you, is kind of the place that I'm going with this, and that's in the GoPro book. So then I go through and I ask them, would you be interested? A lot of times I don't get responses, or I don't get a follow-up from them. So then maybe it's a text, or maybe it's a phone call. And sometimes it's calling about something else, and just tie that in, like, hey, by the way, I messaged you the other day. Did you happen to get that? So I say the people that you personally invite and you personally contact are the people that are going to show up there. Everybody else is just kind of out there, and that's for online classes. So when you're doing an in-person class, it's very important to have a personal invitation to come. Because if somebody was in another company and they just blanketed invited people to come to their house and join them for whatever, for a coffee or whatever, I probably wouldn't take that as, well, she doesn't really mean me. But when somebody calls and says, hey, we're having coffee tomorrow night, are you available? Can you come? I'd really love to see you. I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. So making it personal is the second step. And number 3, give 2 class dates. So if they can't make the one, you have a second backup to follow up on. Like, oh, sorry, I'm busy Tuesday night. I'm like, oh, well, I'm having this class on Saturday. Are you available then? And if they say, no, we got all this other stuff planned, then you can kind of go, well, what works for you? And have them give you a date. And if they cannot pinpoint a date, either they're too busy or they're not interested. And so I was watching a link to this business training with Kara Crozier. Who knows her? She is the vendor event queen. She's enrolled 70 people off of a vendor event, off a single event, just by knowing how to speak their color language or their personality language, and by asking for that sale. And doing the follow-up. The follow-up is super important. But I guess when I get to this point where people are kind of jumping aside from they don't want to come or they're too busy to come, then the question is, are they really interested, or are they just really busy? And so I can sometimes just ask them outright. It's like, if you're not interested, that's totally okay. Just let me know, because I don't want to keep inviting you if you're not interested in this. So just asking them outright, I think people would appreciate that more than you just keep inviting and inviting and inviting. And I don't cross them off my list. They're always going to be on my list, but it's check back with them later. Like maybe the kit goes on sale, and the reason they didn't want to come is because they're short on money. It's like, hey, the kit's on sale. They're having a great promotion, or maybe thieves or something that you know that they like is on sale or free that month. Get back in contact with them. Or maybe it's something completely outside of Young Living and you just have a connection back with them and say, how are you doing? Oh, happy birthday. You know, just some kind of personal connection that they appreciate that you took the time to talk to them, connect back with them. So 2 class dates. And if they're not available on either one of them, then get a little deeper in, ask them like really where they're at. And now we're going to talk about different styles of sharing. And so there's hundreds and hundreds of ways that you can share classes. And I used to teach the same premium starter kit and have a different title each month. Or I would maybe I'd do the 101 class, which is the premium starter kit, and then switch it out to the Oils of Ancient Scripture, or the Thieves Household Cleaner, or the Ninja Red. You can have all these classes in the same month. You can vary them month to month, but always try to start, especially a class for new people, with the premium starter kit, or you know whatever their premium, the oils kit or the Ninja Red kit or the Thieves kit. Something where when a new person comes, they have something that they want to enroll in, where they can enroll as a wholesale member. And now we have the basic, we had it before too, but you can do the basic kit and then customize the order too. So I taught a Oils of Ancient Scripture class, and I had a bunch of new people there. And this lady at the end was like, I want that kit. I'm like, well, okay, you got to get a starter kit before you can get the oil kit to get it at wholesale price, or you can get the basic. And it's just, it kind of made it awkward. So I would use those Animal Sense, Kid Sense, those types of classes for your existing members to draw them into learning about different products aside from the starter kit. So then there's ways that you can share, and to get you guys interacting a little more, I really would love to have your feedback on the ways that you love to host classes. And with the distancing that we have right now, this is the perfect time to delve into the social media. And like I said, when I started, I didn't do any of it. And so I really feel very happy that I have allowed myself to be open to this and expand and grow, so that right now, when we have this opportunity to teach online, I'm not petrified and scared to go live. I remember a couple years ago when Periscope came out, and I was so scared to go live on Periscope because you got so many trolls on there. And then Facebook came out with Facebook Live, and I practiced in a private group before I could actually go live for real. So if that's something that you guys are scared of, that's really an option that's people are so willing to work with you on, is just create a private group and go in there and practice your live and see, where do I need to look at the camera? I'm on an iPad and I still am trying, I think it's here. I'm still trying to figure out, where do I look here for the video? So you kind of want to be looking at your camera lens, and that way you're looking at the people who are watching you. And I keep looking over here to this side where my picture is, because then I can see, am I in the frame or have I moved off to the side? But I really actually have to focus here and talk to you there. So anybody, raise your hand if you are scared to go live, if you are not comfortable on online videos. I see you, Kim. You do great. I have seen you, and she is a magnet for people. They love her, and she's very good at going live. But yes, it is intimidating at any stage. It can be. But that's, you know, you change that nervousness to, I am excited. I am so blessed that I can share this message with people without being in the same room right now. And I can only see one person at a time. So if you guys are raising your hands and doing things, I'm sorry, I can't see you. So we have sway classes. If you have ever tried a sway class, they are amazing. And Kim, you're writing that down because I wrote it down too. It's like, I want to teach people how to do sway. It makes it so beneficial when you have a new person that would just enrolled and is too busy to come to a class. You can send them and link in their email, in their text message, in a Facebook message, however you communicate with that person, you can send them that sway link. It's all in one class. And they just scroll through just like you're looking through a website, but so much more simple. There are things like Project
So Kathy, two things. Two people raised their hand and said they were scared to go live. So if anything you want to add to them about doing that. And then if you could actually say the platform and explain a sway link a little bit, because I think it's even like more advanced. Nobody on my team uses sway links like at all. So
okay.
If you could say
Awesome.
what platform and a little bit more details on it.
So Sway is Microsoft Office. There's Office 365 and there's Microsoft Office. And so if you have Microsoft, you can definitely connect in there. And if you don't, you can join Microsoft, and it's free up to so many characters. So what you do is basically you put graphics into this document, and you start with a heading, and then you can add a text or a graphic, and then you just keep building. It's kind of like a PowerPoint, and you just build into these little boxes. So you open a box and you can put your heading there. You select heading and it'll put it out like a heading. You select graphic or image and it'll allow you to just drag an image in there, or you can click add and then go to your computer or your phone or wherever you're adding from and put that image in there. Or you can put the text in. So you can have the text above the image, or you can have the image above the text. And then you've got ways to design it. So you can have, sway is basically like bringing video into a PowerPoint or a graphic. And you can have it sway in there, like the heading comes across and the graphic comes up. Or you can have it read like a book and you just scroll. And everything's just there like it's like a Facebook post. So you can design your sway to however you want it to look, and you can get it all set up and then choose the design and say, oh, I don't like that. You can change different backgrounds. It's very versatile. Young Living has a Facebook group that's Young Living Sway, and you go into the group and you can use, those are shareable sways. So it's already built for you and they're free. Most of them are free. Some might charge for them. Like I said, Grow Workspace already has them created. They create a sway link with every class that they do, and they create a sway link for every month's newsletter. And that way I can take that sway, and what I was doing, I just got a new website, Get Oiling. Now I can bundle that, all of their class, into my website and use the sway link or use the textables or use the email. So they've got it all worked out for me. I don't have to do it, but I can always go in and edit and change and put my member number in and my link, or I can change the graphic. If I say, oh, I don't like that graphic, I can go change it to whatever picture I want it to be. So you can take one class and you can customize it to make it what you want it to be. And then you send that link on. And if down the road, let's say like CBD, they took out the pet oil, they Grow Workspace edit it for us, and I just downloaded it again into my sways, and I name it. Basically, you duplicate it and name it what you want to name it, and that way, anybody with that link, if I edited my own, anybody who had the link 3 months before, when they pull it up again, it's edited because it's all like a cloud or iCloud or whatever. It's already edited. But if you create a new link, then you got to get people the new link. So it's a really awesome tool because you can do so much with it, and it's just one email. In Project Broadcast, you can't have a shortened link. Both for, if you are sending your member ID for somebody to enroll, you have to have the full link. You can't have a shortened link. And that's the same with the sway. You can't have a shortened sway link. It has to be the full length in order to go through the text. So just one thing on that. But if you have other questions on sway, we can answer them at the end. For right now, I just want to keep going. So online Facebook groups, I think is anybody not in a Facebook group? Oh, it feels over your head. Sorry, Emily. There are tutorials on teaching Sway too, so don't be overwhelmed. It's just take it as information, and you're just going to file it, and maybe later on you'll pull it back out when you're ready. So sorry if that feels over your head, but that's just one form of ways to do classes.
So you guys, if you're on mute, there's a way for you to hit raise your hand just to say. So the question that she asks is there anyone in here that's not in a Facebook group?
So Facebook for me is wonderful because people can see it when you're doing it, or they can come back whenever it's convenient for them. I have my team in a group, and I try to get everybody that enrolls to get into that group, like when I'm enrolling them. Okay, I'm going to add you to this group. Is that okay? There's people on my team that aren't on Facebook. There's people on my team that don't check into Facebook, but at least if they are on Facebook and they are in the group at some point, they have the option to see that information. I even have one lady who's not on Facebook. Her daughter got her on Facebook, but she doesn't know her password. So she gets the link, she gets notified through email that I posted something, and she can see it, but she doesn't ever log into Facebook. So I'm not sure how that works, but that's an option. So online on Facebook, I teach in my Facebook group pretty much every single day. I'm working out with my leaders to pick a day and them teach one day. So it's not just me being in there. Just like we do on Healthy Habits, you're seeing other people come in and teach classes, teach about product, updates, events, anything that happens. And then also to support the person posting. You want to like, you want to comment, so other people say, oh, what did she say about this? What if she's interested, I might be interested. So having that support in Facebook groups is important. And then teaching online, I've done a lot of online events. I do a Friday event, like Tashina says. It's an open group, so anybody who is not in Young Living or anybody in this platform here that wants to share has the access to share. So I like the public group because it allows you to share something. Oh, I like that class. They're all in units, so that you can share a class with somebody. Workshops. So out of the different ways that we're sharing, speaking somebody's personality, and I think Kim Sims also said, depending on the state that you're in, the way you term a class or a meeting or a gathering will resonate with people. So if you're, like for me, I like to call it classes, but we heard in Iowa, people respond better to meetings. If it's a meeting, they'll go. If it's a class, they don't want to go. If it's, okay, so the Propel book, they call them workshops. People will go to workshops versus a class or a gathering. Sometimes if I'm talking to somebody who really is not, like a prospect, not really willing to commit to going to a class, I'll say, we're having a gathering at my house, you want to come? Or a girls' night, or a guys' night, or whatever you want to call it. But be mindful of who you're talking to on how you word it. Webinars. Tashina, you do webinars?
Like, I don't have planned webinars, but I do Facebook classes where I'm only sharing information. So, which I think is the point of like a webinar, right?
Right. So in Grow Workspace, they have webinars set up, the graphics already set up. I use those graphics for my Facebook classes because it's got the wording on it and everything, and so much can be said in a graphic instead of all listing it out in words. But I've never done an actual webinar like on a website, and I think I have the capability on my website. I'm not there yet, which is an important point. Some things you're going to get and you're going to say, I can't do that. So it's okay. Just say, I'm not there yet. And we just all have personal growth at different places and things we're interested in. So you don't have to be there yet, but someday it might be your option, and that might be what really propels you. Zoom classes. I know people that absolutely hate Zoom. And I think this is the greatest platform. It was a learning curve at first, and it was very nerve-wracking. but I think this is the greatest platform to be able to see people, talk face to face, and share your screens. Call-ins. So there's a place called freeconferencecall.com. If you want to have a conference call with your members, you can do that and just be on a phone call. I think that's outdated because people want to see each other. They want to be face to face. And so you can do the same thing on Facebook Messenger. There's a little movie camera up in the corner. You just put people into a chat, notify them first, because once you hit that button, everybody's phone rings. So you just put people in a chat, say, we're going to have a call tonight. Would you like to join us? And I'm just going to go here into my Messenger. And, oh, not that one. I put people into a group, and I'm going to find a group that, here we go. If I call it, no big deal. Up in the corner, there's a little movie camera, and I click that. So our call is at 7:30 on Wednesday night, and at 7:30, I might send a little reminder in the group, like, okay, we're going live, and call it. And I might send it like at 7 o'clock, who's joining us tonight? Because I don't want to start calling people if they're not ready for it, if they're somewhere else. With Lent, they might be in church. So once I call, I know the people that probably are going to come on. Some will come on and say, sorry, I'm busy right now, and then have to go off, and they can still join in as long as the call is going. So this is a platform I really like for smaller groups, like 2 to 3 people, or even 10 people. I haven't tried that many on this, but we did the other day by accident. I think there were 6 of us, and you could see each person's face, like squares, and each person could talk. You can mute yourself, but the person hosting the call cannot mute you. So that is a good way to connect in with leaders or team members, and you just want to, maybe you want to go over the comp plan, or maybe you want to just kind of get their feel on, what do you think about this promotion, or how are we going to talk to people now that we can't meet in a meeting? So that's an option. One-to-one meetings. I have the best luck with this. If you guys are having trouble getting people to come to classes, which right now that's the reality, one-to-one coffee date, a meeting, a call, one-to-one on Facebook, or you can even do calls on texting. I have a friend from Europe that texts me through the international call something, and as long as she's on Wi-Fi, we can talk face-to-face, FaceTime, Skype, those kinds of things. Then they talk about mid-sized classes. So a one-to-one class is just you and a couple friends, or one-to-one person. Mid-size, you want the persons you're inviting to bring a friend. So if you want a mid-sized class, invite 10 people and ask them all to bring a friend, and you've got a good mid-sized class. A large class, you ask 3 people on your team to invite 50 people to that large event. So we're talking, if it's on Facebook, that could be a large event, or if it is on like a diamond event, or a upper gold platinum event, or even a silver event. If you're having a bigger event where you're renting a hotel room, or when you have chairs set up for 100 people, 150 people, you want 3 people to invite 50, that fills your room, but you want to invite more than that as well yourself. Make and takes, making gifts, those types of events, for me, those stress me out. I have people on my team that absolutely love them, but they stress me out. The planning of it, making sure you have all the stuff. So if it causes you the stress, you need to ask somebody to help you to do that. You need to ask somebody, say, hey, you're really good at organizing things. You're really good at graphics. You're really good at, whatever it is. Bring that person in and have them, the person that loves to do it but is too afraid to do it on their own, bring them in. Vendor events, another thing I just got asked to do this spring. I've done them in the past, and when I'm there, I enjoy them. When I'm thinking about it, I'm not enjoying the thought of it. And the key on a vendor event is follow-up, making sure you're getting people's contact information. I found the best way to do a vendor event is not to try to sell what's on your table, is try to connect and build a relationship. You've got 3 minutes to build that relationship and get a contact information, or less. But if you can draw them in with something on your table that they can either win or try, and a lot of times it's something unique that they're like, what? You just got to get their attention to get them to say, what are you talking about? Or or something fun. People wear crazy clothes, crazy hats, just so people will stop by and bring that energy out, you know, like, oh, this is a fun table. So vendor events is basically when you need to get more contacts on your list, that's where you meet people. Aroma freedom technique, if you have people on your team that are scared and don't really want to, they want success, but they're blocked by it. I have done an aroma freedom technique, like, let's figure out where your fears are and let's go beyond them. And you can find that online. There's Facebook groups there to connect in, because I think you have to be certified to actually teach it. So we do have a person here in our, I'm gonna plug this one in. We have a person here in our community that teaches, is certified. So we have done that too, where we've done a aroma freedom. Watch a movie, watch Stink. That is the easiest way to teach a class. Watch Game Plan. Come over, and I've got the essential oil movie. Come over and watch the essential oil movie. That's with Dr. Vanker. That'll give your greens that scientific stuff that they need to have that belief behind the oils. Oils of Ancient Scripture class, that's a great one for different parts of the year. Christmas, Easter, right now would be a perfect time. And I'm actually planning to have a watch party with the Oils of Ancient Scripture. There's a DVD that I have. I'm not sure if it's available anymore. Experience classes. Okay, now I need your chat. Go into the chat and you write your experience classes that you would love to do or that you've done in the past. I'll give you some ideas. Painting, sniff and paint. So you have oils there that they can try while you do a painting class. Succulent class where you use succulents. People love that this springtime to make different arrangements, and then put essential oils in the moss. You can do perfumery or cologne classes. Melissa Pepping has books on that. You can do the Lucy Libido classes. You can do kid rollers, mom kits. A mom kit right now would be outstanding, and that's something you can do online. You can have people invest in, like, who wants to do a mom class online? You register here, you pay through PayPal or however you collect your money online, and then you send them out the supplies, or you can make, you can send them out the supplies, and then on that date, you all make your stuff together. So they make it from their house, or you can make up the kits and sell them if you want to do that. Sip and sniff, you can go to breweries and wineries, not in Illinois. I don't know what, Wisconsin or Michigan, they're closing the bars and the restaurants here. But in the future, sip and sniff, where you have IPA brewery, and then you have your oils there, and they are generally very accepting of that, so that they bring people in. Okay, so that fills up their room, and you have a space where you can teach. I think Panera, what is it? Panera Bread? Yeah, we don't have one here, but that's a great place. Coffee shops. Ditch and switch. You can do a ditch and switch. Bring 2 items that you would like to get rid of and switch it for something with Young Living. Speed oiling. Has anyone ever done speed oiling? That was one of the most fun classes I've done. You get 5 or 6 people from your team, leaders, or not even leaders, but people who like to share. And you have them write out a few facts on a product, and then you have people go around and you get 1 minute to tell them about this product. They get to try it, and then they beep, the buzzer goes on, and then you go to the next one. Bingo, there's oily bingo. There's all kinds of stuff you can do online with that. There's business in a box, okay? So you can carry your oils around with you. I like this case I got at convention one year, and it fits the little vials in there, the little samples. So you've got 8 of your oils that you can carry around, and you can use this as a sample kit. People give out sample kits to people to try the oils, and I put 10 drops in each. You can do less than that, but here's a little kit that you can say, would you like to try some oils, without even having the class, and just send along information on each oil. There's flyers you can get. I have some downstairs, I forgot to pull it. There's other kits, there's just other oils and different cases that you can carry around with you, and just keep something in. And oh, the other day I was at the gym and I could have really used some Raven to give somebody as a sample, and you can just, hey, this is Raven, why don't you try that? Put it on before bed, put it on in the morning, see how you feel. You can carry around your Ninja Red packs and use them for samples. Or you could carry around your product guide and use that as a business kit, a business in a box. Maybe you're at okay, we're talking about things that aren't relevant right now with meeting people, but if you were traveling, you have a book that you can do and flip through as a class. That was one of Shannon Hudson's ideas, I think, long ago. I don't know if she still talks about that. Virtual DIYs, sorry. So doing a do-it-yourself class virtually is another. I guess we talked about that earlier. And then getting people to come to your diamond events, like Scott and Brenda Schuler hosted an event in January. I got 5 people from my team to go to that. I didn't have to teach. I just had to get them to go there and learn and get excited. Or corporate trainings or online corporate trainings like they do every Monday. I share that in my group. We share that in Healthy Habits. Just do it. Just do something. And KISS, keep it simple, silly. Expectations are premeditated disappointments. So whatever your expectation is, with every situation, you're going to find something for an excuse, and you just have to let that go. Say something that you're grateful for. When my computer's not working, I messaged Tashina and said, I'm grateful that I have my phone, I have a tablet that I can use. Your perspective in the situation and the outcome will either draw people to you or help them decide to find someone else to follow. So remember that when things like this happen and you're like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I can't host a class. Well, we have the option to host the class. We all have some tool that we can use to connect with people. And we just have to be grateful for that. Write down 3 action steps that you want to take, and then write down 1 baby step that you can take to move toward one of those action steps. And that's your first, to teach a class, that's what you got to do. You have to write down 3 action steps. You have to plan the dates, and then you have to pick a step. What are you going to do first? And then start towards that. And that's all I have, Tashina.
Yeah, so I just want to rewind for a second. I think going back to when you said attending diamond events, that even applies, like if you just starting out, because you have people that are not even star on this call. You have people that are stars. What I did to get senior star is I brought people to my uplines events. That's all I did. I did have like 1 house party for myself, and then I had my mom have one, and then had my sister have one, like in that first 3 months. But the way I got to senior star is I showed up at every single one of my uplines events, and I brought people to every single one of my uplines events. So probably for some of the people that are distributors or stars, when you started saying the 15,000 classes, like they got really overwhelmed. Like that's not for your level. That's a silver level. I really subscribe to Sarah Harnish's suggestion that if you are below silver, one-on-ones, like essential oils, thieves, ninja, that's all you should ever be teaching. And if you have 1 or 2 members on your team, or you have some prospects that they're just not going to listen to the oils, they've made it clear they're not going to, you bring those people to your silvers classes and above. And the silver is the one that is going to decide, oh, we're going to do a perfume class, and we're going to do a spa party, and we're going to do, unless, like in our case, we do spa parties, but they're still like one-on-one classes because it's just, that's the culture we have. We come from a culture that only wants to party. So all of ours are like spa parties, but then we talk about oils and we do a little spa stuff with it. But like, yeah, that perfume and succulent, and that's not, if you're a distributor or star, that's not even, don't even think about that. Like leave that up to your silver or above, and you get to all the corporate events, and you get to all your uplines events, and you concentrate on sharing the kit and getting people in with the kit. like you got in with the kit.
Right. Right. And for me, starting out, I couldn't even think of it as a class or a meeting or anything. I sat around tables. I sat around living rooms. I would not stand up. I still don't stand up in front of people to teach unless we're at a bigger event. But if I'm going to teach a class, especially for 3 people, I sit down right with them and I teach with them. And I ask them questions so that if they have to respond back, especially the person who's hosting. And that's, I guess, one thing I didn't cover is, for me right now, having one of my team members host is more productive than me hosting a class, because people think that I'm doing this all the time and they don't need to come. She's going to do another one. But when their friend does it, like, oh yeah, I'll come to her house. So for me, that's the most successful right now, is coming to somebody else's house. They invite the guests and we all sit around and we chit chat. What do you like about this one? What do you like about this one? So even the new people have heard about lavender and peppermint, and the people that have been in it a while learn something new. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. It's just getting people in the same room or in the same chat room, whatever you want to do, just taking that action to get people talking. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was gonna say, could I jump in just a second? Because I agree too with Tashina mentioning, like, when I first had the thought, okay, I'm gonna have whatever this means. I'm gonna have a business with Young Living, whatever that means. I had 0 experience with network marketing. I had 0 experience with direct sales. I had 0 experience really with oils. I had very few of the products. I was really just starting to get serious myself and literally bumbled my way through it, and it was fine. But if I could go back and tell myself, how to be a little bit more efficient, which I did some version of this, but I could have been more efficient, was literally, you don't need to know everything to get started. All you need to know is what worked for you, and share that. And so for the very beginning, for the longest time, and is still the most effective now as a silver pushing for gold, it is still the most effective to sit down with someone I have relationship with, who knows me as a person and trusts me, and be like, look, this is my kit. I keep an extra kit. I literally rebought a kit so that I would have it the way that it comes now, because my starter kit was different than what comes now. I didn't get Valor and Peace and Calming in my kit. So I rebought a starter kit, and I sit down with people at my kitchen table, at their kitchen table, whatever. And I'm like, I got this kit, this exact kit. It looked like this kit. And this is what I do with it. And then we pass them. And this is, put some lemon in your water. That's a glass you've got right there. And then that's teaching. I think that for getting started and really building momentum, overcomplicating is overwhelming, and we don't need to. And I think that if we don't have a lot of experience with direct sales, and we come in and we sign up a person or two, and then we're like, oh, maybe I will do that. Then we feel like all of a sudden we have to be operating at the level of a person who has been around for years and been doing it. And that's not the case. Literally, it is always the most effective to just put oils on people, whatever oils you have, and tell them, this is what this did for me. Try it and see what it does for you. You don't have to tell them what it's going to do for them, because you don't know what it's going to do for them. It's different for each one. But present it with the expectation it will do something. I just don't know what. This is what this did for me. I don't know what it could do for you. Let's try it and go from there. And that continues to be the most effective thing for eons and eons and eons. Deborah Rayburn is in my upline and tells the story of how when she very first got started, she could not afford to give anyone a drop of oil. She was like, I cannot even have a class and put a drop of each oil on them when they come. So she had cotton balls and Ziploc baggies, and she put a drop of the oil on the cotton ball and kept it in the Ziploc baggie and passed it so that people could smell it. And it was one drop of oil, and then it wasn't used up, right? Because she was like, this is what I can do. And I'm going to have people experience the oils and then get their own oils. That's all it is. And that is how you move from when you're like, I'm brand new, I don't know, you're saying these ranks and I don't know what these ranks are and what these things are. It literally doesn't matter. You get the oils, you put the oils on people and you're like, I don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to be great. Come back. I'm going to come back and ask you tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, like, what happened? And then you're going to tell me something cool. And it goes from that. And yes, connect with your direct upline because they will help guide you towards the ranks. They'll help you to know what the verbiage is. They'll help you to learn the language, and they'll help you to see, like, this is how to get those extra bonuses. This is how to get that rank in that amount of time. Like, they know all that, and you don't have to. That comes naturally as you go. The point is always authentic sharing, and I'm going to put these oils on you. Let's see what happens.
I love that. And giving them that expectation, like, oh, something's going to happen. Because a lot of times people will put something on, something will happen, but they're not really focused on it. So when they look back, it's like, oh, yeah, that did happen. So I love putting the expectation on before. That's cool, Stacy. Thank you.
Yeah, Shannon Hudson always talks about that too, that I definitely need to get better at, because like she says, even when someone has a not so pleasant reaction, like they're like, oh my God, peppermint is tingling. She'll be like, oh my God, that means it's working. Isn't that exciting? Like if they don't have any expectation of what it's going to do, you just know that it's going to do something. She'll be like, I should charge you double. You got the tingling sensation this time? Good for you. Let's put some carrier oil in there. Get that down. So like that is awesome and definitely something that I need to refine and work on. But yeah, you're right. Like we don't know what it's going to do for them. We're not trying to diagnose, but we know that the oils do what they're going to do and they're going to be awesome.
Just one other point that Stacy and Tashina were both talking about is Tashina was saying the 101 classes for the newer people. That's going to look more duplicatable for anyone that they're sharing with to be able to want to do the business. And Stacy, you were saying that too, is just share authentically and simply. Basically what I got out of it was that's duplicatable. So anyone could do that. So just keeping that in mind is something that I've been working on, because I made mistakes in the beginning and I used a lot of product knowledge and that did not look duplicatable.
Yeah, and just a reminder, so next week's topic, we're gonna focus in on those core 4. So this was like an overview of all the ways you can share and all the things that you can do. But then next week, Dana and Anthony together are going to talk about clearly presenting your opportunity to people. So sharing your story, we're gonna deep dive into how do we craft our story, other tools we can use for sharing, and making sure we stick to that 4 core, which is oils, thieves, ninja, and either savvy or supplements, depending on if it's a man or a woman. Anyone have any questions or any other comments in the last 5 minutes?
I was just going to add exactly what you all said about, so when I went to a first class, I went to like a second class, my third class was that I asked my friend, my enroller, to teach for me. And it was at that class that I watched her use notes. And so everything that I watched her do that day, that's what made me say, hey, can I like have those notes? Because she lives 2 hours from me. So she can't just keep teaching classes for me like that. And that was my first, kind of like what Stacy said, I didn't even understand. I did have experience with direct sales, not multi-level marketing. So when I wanted her to teach a class, I thought I was helping her. In turn, I helped myself because I enrolled like she helped me to enroll people that day. And then she gave me the notes, and I invited people over and just read straight from those notes. So I know like some of us sound, you know, Kathy, there was 1,000 good ideas that she said, and she did say, KISS, like keep it simple. Like it is, we still have to come back to that. Like, there are plenty of notes out there if you don't have them directly from an upline. There are plenty that you don't have to pay for, but also just like what Stacy said about, you know, like, here's my oils, here's what I used. Empty bottles work. They still smell, you know, for quite a while, especially rose, let me tell you. But, you know, most of them still smell. So you don't have to have, like, invest a ton until you're able to. But, you know, and reach out and ask, like, somebody in your upline. Hopefully, you know, in this group right here, clearly we're all ready and willing to share stuff and support. You know, like we pass along notes, and you can still tweak them to your way, but do it authentically for you and tell those stories. But that's exactly how I got started, that I just borrowed notes and invited some people over. So that was the simplest way. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments, guys?
In case anybody can't see the chat where Dana said, that's exactly, just use the product guide.
Yeah. So the
really
first
easy to
class
do.
that I went to was like so many notes and so just like convoluted. And the only thing that like, and I went to that class with the intention of not believing in oils and not buying oils, but what got me was that Panaway was put on my body. That's what made me want. And when Panaway was put on my body, I was like, these are different. I need to have this. And there's people in my family, like my sister and my stepmom, that are kind of into this stuff anyways. So I'm going to have a class and I'm going to get a kit. And then I proceeded to try to have a convoluted class. And then someone was like, oh, you should just do this. But I did my first class on my own. And then as I learned more, I actually got simpler. Like I started using a brochure and reading from the brochure. And sometimes I'd have people in the class read from the brochure. And again, ask, what do you want to get out of this class? And put the oils on people's bodies. Or in the kit of like the feelings kit, yeah, half the time I don't have all those oils and I don't want you using all those expensive oils. So here's my last feelings kit because I need it for me. Y'all gonna sniff the oils. No, there's nothing in that bottle for you to take out of my $200 kit that I use on a daily basis. So yes. And I mean, I've signed up a Lyft driver in Utah a couple years ago. He didn't smell any oils, but he knew about oils. And I built a relationship quickly, and he needed something. And I was like, it's cheaper to get the kit. If you're going to get that one thing, it's cheaper to get the kit. Let me pull up onto my phone. Here we go. So find a need, share the oils the best way you can, and help them see what they need. So. All right, so with that, it is 9:30, so we will let everybody go on time. And again, we will see you next week, where Dana and Anthony, who are amazing and awesome and a wealth of knowledge, are going to take all that we talked about and we're going to help us focus it all right down and set a plan to keep going from there. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Tashina. Thank you.
Have a good night.